Are you ready to learn? Because my super experienced guests are ready to share some really valuable information. Make sure and listen all the way to the end to get help and support. So let's start with the best audio experience.
Hello guys, welcome to our show. Good people, welcome. By the way, I don't want to discriminate bad people. Welcome to our show as well. Anyone who want to learn more about getting the right education, how you can save money, how you can get awesome education, welcome. And I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Seth Greene. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
A big pleasure. I think it's a very important topic for my audience, for students who are looking for ways how to get education, how to save money, especially, I remember when I was a student, that was hard to have any money. So I usually I search for some ways to get this money, and why if we can help others. Seth, before we start, just tell more about your self-experience, background, and more about your experience on helping others to get the right education.
Absolutely. So I started at the age of 18. I went to Syracuse University for musical theater because I wanted to be a Broadway star. Well, every semester, my father gave me such a hard time about the cost of college and that he couldn't afford it and that I couldn't go there anymore, that by the time I graduated, I decided I wanted to help other families solve that problem. And I became a college financial aid planner and the founder of howtofindmoneyforcollege.com, where, our claim to fame is we cut the cost of college tuition $19,077 per year per student on average.
Yeah, nice. Okay, can you tell how to find the right way to learn? Because even the right direction. Because for example, I usually help with SEO, but SEO is huge. I have a lot of people who are looking for ways to grow on digital marketing, on website development, and I found that people make wrong choices. For example, they learn something they don't need at all, or have no passion, then burned out in some time, or even they wanna to satisfy their parents. For example, parents can tell them go to this university, but they are not passionate about that, so dropped and many other things. Can you tell how to find the right way? Because it takes 5 years to learn something new. But if you spend 5 years with something that you are not passionate about, it's not a good idea. Any insights about finding this direction?
So I think we're talking about two different things. I think in terms of finding the right college fit, I think you've got to look at what do you want to learn. I think you've got to look at what type of environment do you want to be in? Do you want to be in a city school? Do you want to be in a rural school? Do you want to be urban or suburban? Do you want to be in a large school where you feel like a number because there are 60,000 people on that campus? Or do you want to be in, let's say, a much smaller school where the professor to student ratio might be 10 to 1, 20 to 1, and your professors actually know you? So I think you've got to look at what you want to learn. Do you want to be in, do you care where the weather is? If you are used to being in the Northeast like I am, my kids might want to run away to Florida or California where the weather's warm. They might have had enough snow. So you've got to look at all those different factors in terms of picking a college. And then you also want to make sure you look at the financial ramifications of your decision. So is there, not all colleges are created equal. Some colleges will give you a lot more free money, a lot more financial aid than others. One of the biggest misconceptions we run into is people think that private college is a lot more expensive than a state public university. And it turns out that's usually not true because private colleges have a lot more financial aid to give away, whereas the state universities do not. So I think you've got to look at all those factors to identify what school might be right for you. And then on the other side, there's a question of if you're trying to learn something like digital marketing, do you necessarily even need a college degree? Can you take a course like the full SEO course? Can you learn from folks like Digital Marketer and other folks like that and get certified and get some credentials behind your name for a couple hundred or a couple $1,000, as opposed to spending 100, 200,000 on a college degree and launch a business, launch a career. I mean, my 16-year-old son was talking about starting freelancing on Upwork and doing coding. And I said, you know what? If you started now, by the time you graduate high school, you might be making enough money that you make more than the college professors you would have gone to learn from. So I think there's a whole lot of factors that go into that decision.
Yeah, awesome, valuable. Yeah, I hope your son will find the best way how to do it, and I like it. When people in 16 years, they're looking for ways how to get practical experience. That it's more important. And yeah, I agree. In digital marketing, I spoke with many great experts like Neil Patel, Rand Fishkin, Craig Campbell, Lily Ray, and many of them have no marketing education degree, but everyone knows them, their stuff they usually do online. So can you tell how to choose or for example, okay, if marketing doesn't need it, I agree. You can learn from courses, you can learn on YouTube, you can read a lot of blog articles. So if your choice is marketing, you can do it, yourself. But what kind of occupations, directions must have, to get this educational degree?
So I think the world has changed a lot, and especially with the advent of Zoom, things like Zoom and some of the online learning websites that you can join and go through, a college degree, depending on certain professions, isn't necessarily required as much anymore. However, as you mentioned, there are professions where legally you have to, right? If you want to become a doctor, if you want to become a lawyer, if you want to become an accountant, there are professions that require a certain career path that includes college and perhaps graduate school. I think in other professions like marketing, my concern would be if someone came to me, I don't even know if there's a degree offered at some school in terms of digital marketing for 4 years. My concern would be if you started now, in 4 years from now, has everything already changed? The pace of change is so fast, right? Like if you had gotten a digital marketing degree 4 years ago, you probably wouldn't have even learned about TikTok, right? Mm-hmm. It wouldn't have been a thing. It was Musical.ly, and then it was something else. And now all of a sudden you graduate with your degree in digital marketing and don't know a thing about TikTok because it's come along the way. I think the world changes so fast now in the marketing scene that college might be too slow. Whereas there were courses on, Perry Marshall wrote the definitive book guide to TikTok advertising, which you could have gotten, as TikTok grew.
Yeah, love it, awesome. Okay, so you mentioned that you can help with reducing this cost for getting education. Can you tell your methods, how to do it, how to save money for students who have no money or have to find money to pay for education?
Absolutely. So there's a number of factors that go into that. I'll touch on a few of the biggest ones. Number one is school selection. It is possible to research ahead of time before you apply to college what financial aid package that college is going to award and what percentage of your need are they going to meet. So there's no point in applying to a school that has no money to give you that you won't be able to afford, whereas there are plenty of schools that could help you significantly financially to the point where it wouldn't cost you much to attend. The magic number that at least the United States federal government uses to determine how much they think you can afford is called the expected family contribution, or EFC. The good news is that formula is available, and it is, for lack of a better term, gameable. There are ways to manipulate the numbers that go into that formula so that you are eligible for more free financial aid and have to pay less for college. And then I think the other factor that most people don't know is college financial aid is negotiable, right? You don't have to just accept the award that the school gives you. You can actually negotiate for more money and plead your case. And most families don't know that. They just accept whatever award they're given, and they leave a lot of free money on the table because they don't try and get more money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, awesome. No, I opened your LinkedIn profile and I can see on your background picture NBC, CBS News, Forbes, Inc. Can you tell more why you have such prominent brands on your LinkedIn profile?
Absolutely. So we have had the good fortune to be interviewed by some major media outlets, like you mentioned. Some of those are for the marketing that we created that grew our college financial aid company to a national presence here in the United States. And some of those interviews were specifically on how to reduce the cost for college. The marketing that we created to grow that business was so successful, it spun off a separate marketing firm that now helps other businesses grow the way we did. So half of those interviews are for college, half of those interviews are for business owners who are looking to grow their businesses.
Yeah, nice, yeah, nice. You know, we are lucky to have you as a speaker on our podcast. Okay, so let's talk about parents. You mentioned your dad. You know, I'm dad. You know, my 12 years old son told me he doesn't want to go to college. He decided to play soccer, and for me, you know, probably it's hard to understand for many other parents, but I agree with him. If he doesn't need to go to college, if he wants to play soccer, okay, let's play soccer. You know, why not? And you mentioned that marketers probably don't need college degree. And I see all the time many great marketers have now this degree. I found, for example, Google has 14% of employees without high degree. So Google, you know, tech company, big company, doesn't ask about this degree. And I'm interested about parents who need to listen to their kids. For example, you know, when I was young, my parents decided that I need to be musician, but I hate it. It's not my direction, you know. And of course, I couldn't do it because I spent so much time by trying to be musician, but that was the wrong choice, and I was not passionate about that. I love my parents, but I think, you know, in Soviet Union, when we had the system, it's hard, you know, to know the right things. Can you tell how to listen to your kids? You mentioned that you have 16 years old son who are coding on Upwork, helping others. So have you helped him to find this direction, or it's his choice, and how other parents can listen to their kids to help them to make the right choice?
Sure. So yes, our 16-year-old is our oldest, and I have 13 and 10-year-old daughters. My 16-year-old wants, at the moment, to pursue a career in computer programming and computer coding. So he has taught himself how to code online, you know, with things like Khan Academy and other online sites. And he's built programs successfully. And now he's about to start his first internship at a technology company at the age of 16. So who knows, by the time he graduates, he may not need to go to college, or he may want to learn for another 4 years before he goes. I never told him to learn how to code. That's him on his own. So he's kind of defining his own path, and I have no expertise in computer coding, so I'm kind of following his lead. Now, I think it's important. There are kids who know what they want to do. My 13-year-old daughter wants to follow in my foot, wants to go to school for musical theater, and she wants to be an actress. So my 10-year-old wants to be an interior designer, which I know nothing about. So I think it's important some kids know what they want to do, or they have an idea. And, you know, my son has friends who have no clue what they want to do. So those kids might require more guidance. They might require, you know, maybe they need a career aptitude test. Maybe they need a personality profile. There are things online they can take to help give them ideas of things they might like to do. Maybe they start at a community college and take some courses at a cheaper price to learn, hey, I like this, I don't like this, before they commit to, let's say, a higher priced 4-year institution. So I think you're right. I think it's important to listen to our kids if they know what they want, and try and find them resources to help guide them if they don't, and hopefully help them make choices or find out what they don't like cheaper and faster than paying for an expensive 4-year degree that it turns out they hated and don't want to use.
Awesome. Okay, you know, once I read an interview with Bill Gates, and he told that his parents tried to take him for dinner with family instead of reading books. He loved reading books. I think he loves today as well. So for me, for my son, it's hard to tell him please read books. He hates reading books, and I think many students have bad habits. For example, we need to listen our kids to understand what they want to get, what kind of passion they have. But if they're passionate to watch YouTube videos, TikTok videos, I think it depends on the way how we use social media or any other places. For example, I told him, okay, you want to watch TikTok videos, then create content for TikTok. No, it's more helpful. Okay, you can watch, but create content, film yourself, you get experience, it's much better. But he usually consumes. Can you tell how to tell our kids to change habits from bad habits to good habits to lead them in the right direction? Yeah.
Bad habits to good habits. I don't know if I'm an expert in that. I think as a parent, we make mistakes every single day. I think I think I point out to my kids if they're doing something, I say, hey, is that serving you? Is that making you happy? Is that moving you towards your goals? No. Well, then maybe you might want to consider doing something different. What do you think would help move you towards your goals or what you want? So in one of the strategies I've used is I paid my kids. The first one I did it with my son when he was 6 or 7. I paid him $1 a page to read Think and Grow Rich, and he would take the book into school for reading time every day and fill out I read 10 pages, I read 20 pages, and the teacher called us and said, most kids are reading Hop on Pop or See Spot Run, and there's a different book every week because they finish it. Your son keeps writing the same thing over and over and over again. I said, right? It's like a 300-page book. And she's like, well, why is he reading this book? It's not age appropriate. And I said, well, it's changed his life. So I think bribing them ethically to read things that we know will improve their lives is a great strategy. It's worked for my kids. And I think, or if your kids aren't big readers, you could bribe them to watch a video that would teach them something. There are tons of inspirational, motivational, educational content on, for example, YouTube that would help them steer them in the right direction.
Nice. Awesome. Okay. I'm interested about common mistakes. Can you tell or list mistakes that students still do and how to find a much better way?
Common mistakes. I think kids go to college because they think they're supposed to, not because they know what they want to study or they know what they want to do. I think they just default to going to college and it's not always the best choice for them. I think another mistake that students make is they go to the expensive 4-year private, university first without knowing for sure that that's what they want. I mean, I think the average right now is the average 4-year degree is taking 6 years because kids change majors. They don't know what they want to study. They try something and then they have to switch more than once. We've had students in our program, in our How to Find Money for College.com program, who have changed majors multiple times, which some of those credits don't transfer. So they end up spending way too much money and way too much time trying to figure out the degree that they actually want. And I think if they had put more thought into it at the beginning, or maybe done the experimentation at a cheaper, community college and then transferred, they might have saved themselves and their parents a whole lot of money and time.
Yeah, interesting. And let's talk about this brainstorm. For example, if someone doesn't know what kind of education they want to get, but everyone, including their parents, told you need to get college education. I remember once I spoke with Neil Patel, and he told me everyone told him you need to get college education. Without college education, you are nobody. So that he after that he spent 5 years. For him, like entrepreneur mindset, he told that was wasting time. because 5 years of getting this education, he didn't get critical thinking that he needs in entrepreneurship. And today, he's one of the famous marketers. And can you tell about making the right choice and brainstorming? For example, I think everyone makes mistakes. I usually I made a lot of mistakes. I keep doing them, but I can learn. But when you waste 5 years, it's a lot. So any insights about brainstorming?
Absolutely. There are a lot of assessments online that will help. I can get you some links later on where students can take personality tests, aptitude tests, career tests to help them figure out what they're interested in and what potential careers that might be, so that then they can see, oh, I'm interested in this. I could use this in these careers. Does that sound like something I want to do? And I think one of the most underutilized resources is getting internships at the high school or college level where you work in an actual company that does what you think you want to do, to find out if that's what you thought it was and that's what you really want to do.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, today we have a hot topic, Chat GPT. It's awesome tool, AI tool, and Bill Gates once told that if you don't know what to do, learn about AI, because it's the future, and it's that was simple to ignore, hard today, impossible tomorrow. I check out one study that students use this tool to decide their problems, but they don't learn. For example, I use this tool, but I usually do it because I can save so much time. I can get insights from this tool. I can edit to add extra insights to create awesome text. But many students use this tool for the sake of getting complete result sent to teachers. So, can you tell about AI? Your thoughts about AI? What is it important today to learn about AI, and any tips about AI?
Obviously, AI is a hot topic right now. I think that Chat GPT and things like that, whether it's Jasper or something else, are phenomenal tools. I think that AI is definitely going to be a big part of our future. I don't think we'll abdicate all, let's say, writing or content creation to it, because I think no matter how smart the computer is, it should always be looked over or checked by a person. And a computer doesn't necessarily have a distinct voice or personality. I think it is definitely the cutting edge of technology right now. And I think you're right. It's very important for people to learn about it. But I think it will make writers and content creators' jobs easier, but I don't think it'll replace them.
Yeah, definitely. But it can replace mediocre writers who doesn't want to change anything, because we have many writers who just rewrite text, so AI can do this job instead of them without sharing something new and valuable. And Seth, I have the question about your services. Can you tell what is your unique selling proposition? Because we have many other consultants, we have many other services that can help to reduce cost with education. What is your unique selling proposition, strong sides compared to others?
So on the college planning side, our unique selling proposition is we cut the cost of college tuition, an average of $19,077 per year per child. And I have met throughout the decades a number of other college financial aid firms. We are one of the only ones that not only will do all the financial aid paperwork for our clients, we help them pick the right schools. But we are one of the only firms that will actually negotiate physically with each school for more money. That's kind of our claim to fame.
And my final question about the future of education. Can you predict or forecast the future? What kind of future will be? Because many things are coming, like AI, augmented reality. We will see. So, any insights about the future?
I think we will see more self-education. I will think we will see more programs pop up to be alternatives to college, whether it's something like Khan Academy, but now there's course protocol and you get certified so you can prove you did it, right? If someone came into my office for a job interview and said, well, I watched 23 YouTube videos, I don't know if I would necessarily say, okay, you're hired. But if they had some type of governing body that proved what they had learned, they'd probably have a better chance of getting hired. So I think we will see some of those. I think we'll see more online educational platforms pop up. I think we'll see more. Someone's going to come up with a way to certify what we've learned online to make it more standardized so that employers know what they're getting when they hire someone who's been through it. And I think we'll see a decline. I think fewer people will pursue college, but the people who pursue college will be going for more of the career paths that are regulated, like doctor, lawyer, accountant, or they'll be going to college because they're not just there for the education. They also want the personal growth experience, the 4 years of additional learning in a structured environment, because not everybody's right to go, let's say, learn on Khan Academy or YouTube and turn that into a career. Some people need that structure of 6-8 hours a day of education from an actual teacher who interacts with them in person. So I don't think college will ever go away, but I think it's very much going to evolve over the next 10 or 20 years.
Nice. Awesome. Love it. Love it. Seth, it's a big pleasure to get on my show, to learn from you. Tell our audience the best way how to reach out to you, how to learn more about you, how to follow you.
Yes. Okay. So if you want to learn more about our college financial aid services, that is at howtofindmoneyforcollege.com. And if you want to learn more about our marketing firms, marketing services, that is marketdominationllc.com.
Okay, guys, you can find the links to this website in the description below. Listen to us on Apple, Google, Spotify. Thanks again for your time. A big pleasure. Love all your insights. Guys, you need to follow Seth on social media, on LinkedIn. You can find this website in the description, and see you next time.